So in my last video, I had several comments expressing concern for my well-being on my sketchy little redneck project here, and I just want to say thanks for that. I appreciate that. It's nice to know the greater YouTube family is concerned for safety and well-being of other YouTube creators, and I just want to say thanks for that. I also want to say that this isn't my first rodeo, so I figured I better explain this a little better to alleviate concerns. Number one, of course, I told you about the shed moving. Well, I saw it start to move, so I stopped, anchored it with stakes, so took care of that problem. Also, it wasn't in the last video, but you see I got a moving blanket on that cable. Whenever I am using winches or come-alongs or anything that puts cables under tension, I always put a moving blanket on the cable, because what that will do in the event of that cable suddenly snapping under tension is that will absorb all the energy, and it'll just go limp. If I didn't have anything on there, there's a good chance I could take my head off with the whiplash from that cable. So I always use a moving blanket. Number two, I staked, and those are 3-foot long concrete stakes. They're buried about halfway. I anchored those in there before I started winching this thing up to keep that from slipping. And then as I was winching this up, once this bush hog got up over the center of gravity, probably about 75-degree tilt or so, and the chain started going slack. At that point, I knew it was time to brace. So I've got a giant railroad spike pry bar there on one end and a chunk of pipe on the other. And I was using these jack stands as I was lifting to support it as I reset the come-along. And I also have them parked under the edges. I just pulled them out of the way for the sake of the video right now. And so, yeah, thanks for the safety concern. I appreciate that. As you can see, I'm halfway done here. I got one blade on. My grandson, Robbie, he did the sharpening on that for me about a month ago when they were here escaping the wildfires of California. They're all okay. Their home's okay. But he did some grinding for his grandpa. And but with other stuff going on and, you know, his mom's homeschooling and all of that, he didn't get to the other side. So that's what I'm doing. Also on a safety note, while you're grinding, my two daughters for my birthday last March, they got me this real nifty face shield. And what I like about it is it comes all the way down and tucks into your chest. So you don't have sparks flying underneath the mask and coming up under your glasses and hitting you in the eye. 40-some years ago as a young man, I suffered two eye injuries about a year apart. One was a concrete chip, the other was a metal chip. So I got permanent floaters in my right eye. It's not pleasant. So take the extra time, put your PPE on, safety glasses, earplugs, some kind of respirator or mask. Protect your ears, eyes, and lungs. I wear a hearing aid because of earlier indiscretions as a young man. So save yourself the agony I go through. Put on the PPE. It only takes a second. So I'm in the midst of sharpening this other blade, and I discovered a crack here on both sides. So I've got this V'd out on both sides, and I'm going to drill a hole right about here, just beyond the end of the crack. And then I'm going to get my old ancient Chemtron welder fired up. We're going to weld that up. So, hey, that's an update on the bush hog, on safety, and yeah. And I hate to rub it into all my good friends up north that are in the throes of winter right now, shoveling snow and freezing and lighting wood stoves off to stay warm. I truly feel guilty about showing you this, but It's about 62 degrees, about a 3 or 4 mile an hour breeze, and the weather's just perfect. And so I'll shut up about up that now. I don't want to rub that in. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.